Hello dear students, in my previous audio presentation I discussed up to question number 3. Now in this audio presentation I will discuss question number 4 or from question number 4. So let's come to question number 4. Question is, how was Annie Pearson responsible for her fate? Whether she was responsible for what the treatment that she faced, to which extent she was responsible. So let us come to the answer part now. To a certain level, Annie Pearson was herself responsible for her fate. She was, besides the other things, loving and caring. She was an ideal housewife. She was an epitome of motherhood. She was loving and caring also. She loved and cared for her children and husband so much that they failed to understand her value and worth. She loved and cared for her husband and children so much that they failed to understand her true value and her true significance. She had wished to correct them, but for fear of hurting them, she didn't mention it. Now, she never ever quarreled with them because she was afraid that her behavior might hurt them. So she had that fear at the back of her mind, and that was the reason she never mentioned her grievances to them. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the next question, question number 5. How did Doris and Cyril consider their mother? That means, what was their take related to their mother? That means, in other words, to say, in which way they treat their mother. In which way Doris and Cyril treat their mother. Both Doris and Cyril are employed, so they are aware of the workload issues, yet they had never got time to consider doing work. Now they actually act as if they do a lot of work, but ultimately they are two lazy teenagers. Their mother, Annie Pearson, does a lot of work, gives a lot of effort. They can't think of it. So let me continue. See this line. Both Doris and Cyril are employed, so they are aware of the workload issues, yet they had never got time to consider doing work. They took her for granted. This is the core concept. They took their mother for granted. That means Mrs. Pearson or Annie Pearson was taken for granted. They learned what their mother had wanted them to learn. And remember one thing, Mrs. Pearson was never angry. She was never quarrelsome. She was meek and mild and gentle. And most importantly, she her image in front of her two teenage children, Doris and Cyril, was the same throughout. She never displayed any other sort of emotions apart from being kind and gentle. So let me continue. So that was the reason the two children they had taken her for granted. Though their mother worked harder and longer, without a word of appreciation or salary, they could not see the essential worth, that is, importance and hardship of the work she did. Now, I already told you at the middle of this answer only that her efforts, her workload were immense in comparison to her children. But sadly, she never ever got any recognition. She never ever got any thanks. She never ever got any word of appreciation or salary. Now, this actually shows that her difficulty and also the hardship she faced. Despite she deserved the essential worth for her hard toil and hardship, she received simply zero, nothing, from her family members because they took her for granted. Rather, we can say Cyril and Doris, unfortunately, her children, they took her for granted, just like their father. Dear students, now I am moving on to question number 6. Question number 6 goes like this. What was Mrs. Fitzgerald's unusual idea for helping Annie out? And that unusual idea was the supernatural intervention, that is, performing magic. So I repeat, Mrs. Fitzgerald suggested equipping Annie with a bolder and stricter personality by means of magic. And that is only possible when personalities will change bodies, and that particular action is possible with the help of magic. She offered to infuse her character into Annie. Infuse, dear students, means insert. So she wanted to insert her character into Annie in exchange of the latter's weak character. And obviously, the latter's weak character will be exchanged with her strong feminist character. By doing this, Mrs. Fitzgerald hoped to bring Annie's family to encounter a change in the family system. Now, why Mrs. Fitzgerald wanted to do this magic? The real reason was that she wanted to bring a progressive change, not only in the mindset of Annie Pearson, but she wanted to bring a progressive change in the entire family system, definitely which involves her husband along with her two rotten, ruined and spoiled children. She wanted to counsel them in the harshest way as possible, as we found in the drama also. She wanted to make them self-independent, self-reliable, so that they may not depend blindly on their mother every time. And most importantly, she also wanted to counsel George Pearson, whom she counseled very harshly throughout the drama. We also know about it. And most importantly, her main purpose was that the family members should treat Annie Pearson in a very dignified manner, not as a garbage or a commodity. That was also his main intention, so that Annie Pearson should get her due recognition that she longs, that she deserves for a long, long time. So let me continue. By doing this, Mrs. Fitzgerald hoped to bring Annie's family to encounter a change in the family system. Now, dear students, I am moving on to question number 7. What were the immediate effects of the magic spell? That means, after the magic was performed, what was the effects of that magic spell? So, let me continue with the answer. Mrs. Fitzgerald's magic had far and near repercussions. Repercussions, you can say implications. That means its effect was far and near. When it was spelt, the two women tired out of their selves and transformed into contrasting characters. Now, contrasting characters in the sense that Mrs. Annie Pearson imbibed the nature, the mannerism, and the entirety of the character of Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald imbibed the weak characteristic trait of Annie Pearson. That is, in the bottom line of it is that, in short, we can say personalities change bodies. Annie became the bold Fitzgerald and vice versa. With the change of character, they also got the additional features such as sound and movement. I also told you about it. That apart from the change in the personality, even the way of talking, the way of walking, even the sound and movement of a particular individual character, it was also been received when they perform that magic. That additional features also. Now I am moving on to question number 8. Why didn't Fitzgerald, as Doris' mother, like her going out with Charles Spencer? Now, what was the reason? We know that Mrs. Fitzgerald was very much critical of Charles Spencer, the boyfriend of Doris Pearson. So the answer goes like this. Fitzgerald was of the opinion that Charles Spencer was not a pence worth young man to go out with. She was of the opinion that Doris's boyfriend Charles Spencer, he was buck teeth and half witted. Dear students, I mentioned it in my previous audio presentation, and the important thing was that according to her, Charles Spencer was good for nothing at all. With buck teeth and half witted, I already told you all about it. Spencer was not the right man for a girl like Doris. She was also of the opinion that it was wise to give a man like him and go for a sensible one. Even very frankly, she told Doris that it is better to dump this man and to go out in order to search for a sensible one in the place of Charles Spencer. Now, dear students, I am moving on to question number 9. The question is, do you agree that Doris and Cyril's behavior with their mother was extremely rude and unheard of? Do you think that the way Doris and Cyril behaved with their mother was extremely rude and something that you haven't heard previously? Do you think so, that their behavior was totally out of the blue, as if you haven't heard anything of that previously? Now, what can be a possible answer or a possible explanation to that? It will be like this. There have never been a son and daughter in stories or in real life who were as aggressive as their mother as Doris and Cyril had been. They are asking, is tea ready? And you are going to iron it for me. Are rude and out of the ordinary. Now, parents and the children, there are instances in the stories and in the novels also where they quarrel. But here it is too much, as if they are ordering their mother, as if their mother is a caretaker. And the quotation lines are there in the text also to sum up what exactly I am trying to say, like, is tea ready? Then you are going to iron it for me. All this shows that they are very rude and harsh in their behavior towards their mother. When they are informed that tea was not ready and the dress was not ironed, their responses are equally unexpected. Now, when Mrs. Fitzgerald told them that no, she haven't got time to prepare tea, and even she haven't ironed Doris's yellow silk dress, that she was eager to go on a dating with Charles Spencer wearing that, their responses were also equally unexpected. They became furious and livid with anger because they never expected their mother to reply in such a casual and careless manner. So I repeat, when they are informed that tea was not ready and the dress was not ironed, their responses are equally unexpected. They talk like dictators or tyrants, ordering to their slaves. And it seems that they are talking to their dictators, they are talking like dictators. And it seems that Mrs. Pearson was not their mother. She was being treated by them as their slaves, as their slave. Now that is totally unfortunate. This is the height of indecent behavior on the part of the children. It cannot be supported at all. So that was it, dear students. All the 9 questions I tried to explain to you all. Try to listen. In my next tutorial audio presentation, I will go and I will explain to you the reference to the context question answer from this chapter, where a quoted expression will be given and few questions will be given related with that quoted expression. I will discuss regarding that in my next audio presentation. Till then, you listen to this audio presentation, and if there is any doubt, kindly ask me. Thank you, students. Thank you all.